y'all. It's good to see you back. We are in court. Hold on just a minute. Let me get this pulled up. There's no sound yet. They're just sitting there. I appreciate y'all coming back. Good to see all of you lovelies again. Let me take this off and then I'll make it full screen. I want to see them, I want to know what that tissue was on that towel. I want to see the testimonies from the expert witnesses and things like that. I'm interested in seeing that. Hold on. Basil was demanding attention while I was trying to get this fixed. He is over here demanding attention. Poor thing. He's just got me to play with, so I feel bad for him sometimes. Hey, Cracker Jacks, Jenny Jen, Fawny Donnie, Southern Cats, Indy. Let's see. Indy, Jenny Jen, Cracker Jacks, Southern Cats, Fawny Donnie, Hannah, UK, Bad Girl. Hey, I missed y'all. It's been so long since we saw each other. I didn't think I could wait much longer to see y'all again. Lisa Lynn, good to see you, love. All right, baby. Mama gave you some animal crackers. You got to go sit down. Oh, did you eat them all? Hey, Chaz. Hey, Indy girl. Let me walk in here and get him some animal crackers. Might be loud for a second. I got that rock tumbler on. Let me turn it off. There. That's better. Grab him animal crackers. Him animal crackers. Jenny Jen. It's Jenny Jen. What are you singing, child? You're such a dork. Oh, I forgot to write. Oh, that was the end of that one. I was like, I forgot to write my timestamp, but we finished that one, didn't we? So this will be a new one. Let me draw a line. Oh, Nightbot's here. Judge P is on the potty again. The classic one. Good to see you. Judge P is on the potty. I made lunch, so the kids got to eat more than just sandwiches today, and did dishes and cleaned up. Took a short walk to my neighbor, my landlord's. She's bathing the chickens because they got some kind of infection or something, so she's soaking them in Epsom salts. Did you pee a rock yet? I know, poor bad girl. Oh no, Genevieve, I was talking to my daughter. I said Jenny Jen, and then I was calling my daughter a dork. Oh goodness. I hope everybody enjoyed their lunch break. I hope y'all ate you something, got you a drink. I got me some doTERRA Meta Power is what it's called, for energy. Prosecution has made it into the courtroom at 2:03. Still funny. Good to see you, Genevieve. Mac Daddy Rooster, yep. He's out there somewheres. Have I heard of food grade? Yes, I have. I use diatomaceous earth for my garden. I have heard of food grade, though, that you can use to get rid of parasites and things like that. So there was a black walnut tree, and you can use the holes from the black walnut. You can like shave it down. And I use that as a parasite cleanse. I also have been able to grow wormwood. I've got 3 wormwood plants that is good for parasites and things like that. And it was popular during COVID to kind of help COVID. That's when I got the seeds to grow. I'm so sorry. Bad girl. I couldn't imagine. I've had UTIs and just cried my eyes out. I could not imagine a kidney stone. Like, I thought I had a kidney stone and it wasn't even that. Lord have mercy. I don't know what I'd do. Cracker Jack said, sitting in a car with a Burger King and all ready for the evening session. Good. You said, all right, I'm coming to be a farmhand there. Who else is with me? It's nice. I got to milk the goat last night and the night before, and I want to film it again, but it was raining so hard last night. I was trying to kind of get it done. Get a Whopper. Get a Whopper. A Whopper with cheese. A Whopper. All right, ma'am, it's 2:05. Where you at? Get off the pot and let's go. Oh, they gave you. Oh, bad. Well, they don't even like to give those out anymore. If you have to go back to the hospital, go back to the hospital and tell them that, this mess hurts. I was in jail with a girl that had kidney stones, and she said they took her and hooked her up to some damn morphine drip or something because they were so bad. But yeah, that's better than nothing though, I guess. But trying to think. I would take goldenrod, but I don't know if you have any in your area. It's an herb that helps with pain. You take it with that. Some AZO, well, AZO's for UTI, so I don't know. Make sure you're drinking water, even though I know you don't want to. I had my ass handed to me by a mod on another channel. I said, you hear more out of Florida because of the laws there. And the mod said, no, you're wrong. What? That's true. It's the sunshine laws. You do get more information out of Florida because of the laws there. What the crap? They throw too many at me. I'm like, really, Doc? Oh, goodness, Bonnie. It's a 3 millimeter and they're having you pass it on your own. Oh my God. Can they not like shock it and break it down? Like, they do stuff. They'll do this kind of shocking thing or something that I've heard of, that where they break it down into really small pieces. I have never had any, thank God. You have a lot of goldenrod? Yeah, I got a lot. I get some every year and I feel like 3-gallon size mason jars with it. It's really good. Put her in a jewelry cleaner, shake her up. At 5 millimeters they do? Wow. Lord have mercy. When it finally passes, you'll feel better. If you drink a lot of Mountain Dew and tea, try to refrain from doing that. Come give you a Roto-Rooter. Basil, sage, lamb's ear, mullein. I grow mullein. Milk thistle grows wild here. I'm growing no. I don't know if I'm growing basil. I'm growing 2 different types of sage. I've got rosemary. I just got some thyme. I've got oregano. And then I've got a mullein plant that I grew from seeds local here. It's in its 2nd year. Whew. Lord, if y'all don't, I'm all right. I'm about to start reading the arrest warrant. I'm going to work on pulling it up while we wait. No, don't do it. All right. Scarborough Fair? No, I haven't been there. So we're at number 30. Well, we're waiting for the damn judge to come in. So while we do that, I'll probably leave it up and read some more of this arrest warrant. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share this and read some of this to you guys, and I'll hear it when they come back in court. Excuse me. I didn't say jump down to 22. So we need to go to the top of 19. We need to magnify it to 1.25. Maybe. Okay. All right. So number 30 says that on December 6, 2019, while Detective Hart was at 6.5 Myrtle Avenue pursuant to a search warrant for the residence, he located in a diaper bag a right pink Croc infant shoe size 2 to 3, which matched the left pink Croc shoe size 2 to 3, containing a blood-like substance that was located in the Kiducation clothing bin. There was no other matching pink Croc found at 6.5 Myrtle Avenue. So one of her shoes is at the house, and one of them is in the bin where they found all that blood-like substance. Number 31, that on December 9th, 2019, an additional search warrant was granted for the residence at 6.5 Myrtle Avenue, which had been in the custody and control of Ansonia Police Department since the evening of December 2nd, 2019. During the search of the residence, the following items, among others, were located and seized as evidence: Mega Block toys that matched the Mega Blocks found in the Kiducation clothing bin, and 3 towels and 1 bath mat, all containing stains that were found in the washing machine. Baby clothes were also located, with the majority of them being size 12 months. No evidence of Vanessa's car seat or car seat base has been located to date. Number 32, that video surveillance footage was obtained from the Barbino Nissan at 505 North Colony Road, Wallingford, which shows Christina Morales entering the showroom together at approximately 11:16 a.m. on November 29th, 2019. Christine is seen holding Vanessa. Interviews with Barbino Nissan personnel confirmed that Christine purchased a 2017 black Ford Focus that day, and that Morales and their daughter were present during the transaction. All 3 of them left Barbino Nissan together in a new vehicle that same day, and Christine's previous vehicle, the Mazda Protege, was left at Barbino Nissan as a trade-in. So remember, he said that he knew her to drive that gold Mazda Protege, and he didn't know of her driving a 2017 Nissan black Ford Focus or whatever she got. That just proves that he lied about that, because he's seen on camera in the car dealership with her and the baby buying the car. Lord have mercy. Let's not go crazy. All right. Need you to calm your tits, computer. Calm your tits. Okay. We were on 19. We're probably on 20. Goodness. My computer went crazy. That phone records, which include call history and geolocation data to include cellular phone towers utilized by the target phone obtained via search warrant for Morales' LG phone, revealed that his phone was in Bridgeport on the evening of November 29, 2019, which is consistent with Hector's and Morales' claims that they were in Bridgeport. Morales' phone records further revealed that his LG phone was connected to a cellular tower near 6.5 Myrtle Avenue, Ansonia, at approximately 12:50 a.m. on November 30th, 2019, and remained there until approximately 3:33 a.m. on December 2nd, 2019. Records pertaining to Morales' iPad, which was seized as evidence from his residence, were obtained via search warrant, which revealed that his iPad connected to the Wi-Fi router located at 6.5 Myrtle Avenue at approximately 9:05 a.m. and 9:49 a.m. on November 30th, 2019. The 9:49 a.m. connection is from a 2-minute video call that was made from Morales' iPad to his mother, Linda de Jesus. The call was confirmed via the call log in Linda's cellular phone. Hey, Abel, it's good to see you. She's still not in court. Number 34. That video surveillance was obtained from the area residences and businesses, which revealed the following. At approximately 6 a.m. on December 1st, 2019, a vehicle that appeared to be Morales' Nissan Sentra left the area of 6.5 Myrtle Avenue and then traveled to the area of the Kiducation clothing bins on Derby Avenue, less than 15 minutes later. The vehicle drove to the Shell gas station on Main Street in Sonia, where Morales entered the store and attempted to purchase cigarettes, but his card was declined. The Nissan Sentra is seen returning to the area of 6.5 Myrtle Avenue at approximately 6:24 a.m. and again at approximately 1:09 p.m. on December 1st, 2019. Video footage also revealed that Christine's Ford Focus left Myrtle Avenue at approximately 7:32 a.m. on December 2nd, 2019, and phone records show that Morales' phone left the same time heading towards Derby. His phone traveled for the next approximately hour and a half, and then the Ford Focus is seen in the video returning to Myrtle Avenue at approximately 9:14 a.m. on December 2nd, 2019. Morales' LG phone then connected to a cell tower located at 6.5 Myrtle Avenue and sent an outgoing message at approximately 9:37 a.m. on December 2nd, 2019. This activity would be consistent with Morales driving Christine's vehicle during the time that it left the residence. Officer Kelly's body cam video captured both Christine's Ford Focus and Morales' Nissan Sentra parked across the street from 6.5 Myrtle Avenue as the officer left Christine's residence after conducting the first welfare check on December 2nd, 2019 at 1:04 p.m. Surveillance video from a nearby residence captured Morales' Nissan Sentra leaving Myrtle Avenue at approximately 1:49 a.m., therefore appearing as though Morales had been inside the residence at the time the officer was on the scene. Isn't that crazy? Hey, Connie. Good to see you. So he was in the residence, didn't answer the door. So if he's going to say that somebody punched him in the face when he tried to call 911, well, sir, why didn't you answer the door when they did the welfare check? Is it because there was a body inside? 35. That numerous pieces of evidence were submitted to this Connecticut State Lab for DNA analysis, and some, but not all, of the results are as follows. Reddish-brown staining from the left black Nike sneaker size 8 that was found in the Kiducation donation bin. Reddish-brown stains found on the black Hanes t-shirt size 3X that was found in the Kiducation donation bin. Reddish-brown staining and tissue-like material found on the left and right Nike sneakers worn by and sized from Jose Morales' person, all tested positive for the presence of blood. Samples of loose hairs found in Christine Holloway's hands during the autopsy were found to have a DNA profile consistent with originating from Jose Morales and Christine Holloway. DNA testing samples from the following items were located inside the Kiducation donation bin were found to have DNA profiles consistent with originating from Christine Holloway. The left black Nike sneaker size 8 reddish-brown stains on a children's wooden puzzle, reddish-brown stains on a Sydney Shark children's book, and reddish-brown stains on the black Hanes t-shirt size 3X. Jose Morales is eliminated as a source of the DNA profile obtained. Tissue-like material found in the back heel of the left black Nike sneaker worn by and sized from Jose Morales' person, as well as a reddish-brown stain on the back of the heel of Morales' right sneaker. And on the front top of his left Nike sneaker have a DNA profile consistent with originating from Christine Holloway. Jose is eliminated as a source of the DNA profile obtained. Hold on a minute, y'all. Let me clear my throat and get a drink. My computer went crazy again. All right, hold on. We're going to try 22. Are we on 23? Nope. Okay, yeah. DNA testing of bone fragments located in the garbage disposal trap in the kitchen sink at 6.5 Myrtle Avenue have results consistent with the DNA profile originating from Christine Holloway. These fragments were collected as evidence during the search of Christine's apartment pursuant to a search warrant. That on December 12, 2019, Jose Morales was interviewed by Detective Adcock at the New Haven Correctional Center where, hold on a minute, I think they're coming. Yeah, she's back in court. All right, so we're on 36. All right, let me write that down and I'll get this back up. Hold on. She's talking to the bailiff. Let's see. Yeah, my computer was being a butt munch. Oh, I bet the prosecution, I bet they were having a meeting of some sort since they're just now coming in with her. So, all right. She went over and talked to the bailiff and pointed at something. I don't know what. This is going to be loud. Hey, Mandy Lorian. Had to give him some placas. Yep, into Chambers meeting.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. All right, so we are prepared to resume the second day of trial in the matter of State of Connecticut versus Jose Morales. I did have an opportunity to
such a good baby.
Speak with counsel.
Good baby.
In Chambers regarding an issue
stopped up the toilet. Oh Lord!
Attention. That issue does involve a juror who provided a note to this particular court, the appropriate means
it's
through
on.
The clerk. The note was signed and dated
please.
And has been marked as court exhibit number 2 and will be put in the court's file. Having said that, the court intends to bring the juror in to question the juror regarding the note. The court instructs the media to abide by the court's instruction not to record the juror. So the juror should not appear on any recording. I also would just like to remind the media that they should not be zooming in or capturing any documents or screens on either counsel's table. So it has been brought to my attention that perhaps there has been some capture of perhaps maybe a distant view of a table, and it did not appear to be a problem at this time, but I just want to remind all media members of their responsibility in abiding by the court's orders.
Right.
So at this time, just for purposes of giving the media a heads up, I am going to have that juror come in. Okay. So I believe that juror's, Madam Clerk, did the juror's last name?
Okay.
All right.
Y'all, I had it muted. I thought they weren't talking, and they were. My computer volume was muted. I don't know why. I did that earlier. Okay, are we muted while the juror comes in, I suppose? Lord have mercy. I'm going to give it just a second. If they don't cut back to the... I know, I'm such a slacker. My flamingo, oh yeah, he's been there. Yeah, Judge had to pee. Evidently. If they don't come back, I reckon I better continue reading the damn arrest warrant. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Okay. Nope. Wrong thing. What am I doing here? Oh. Well, that's probably why. Sorry, y'all. Talking to myself. Hold on. Hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute. Okay. I suppose we'll go back to the arrest warrant since they're doing this now. Where were we at? 22, I believe. First name is Agata. Last name is P. All right. I'll read it from over here. That way we can see when they come back. Okay. So 38, that on December 12th, 2019, Jose Morales was interviewed by Detective Adcock at the New Haven Correctional Center where
so that name is Tom.
Morales is incarcerated on pending charges. This interview was audio recorded. Detective Adcock explained and provided Morales with his notice of rights from which he signed, claiming he understood his right and agreed to participate in the interview. During the interview, the following information, among other things, was obtained and or discussed. Morales admitted that he did smoke dust or PCP with Hector on the night of November 29, 2019, and that Morales continued smoking PCP at Hector's house that same night, and he believed that he slept over at Hector's house. Are we back? They're bringing in the jury. Okay. Regarding his relationship with Christine, Morales said that he met her via an online dating website and that they fell in love and had a great family life. Spending weekends with Christine and Vanessa was his whole life, and Morales would normally stay every weekend at Christine's house until Monday mornings when Christine left for work, unless Morales had brought his son to stay over as well, and then Morales would leave on Sunday because his son had school on Monday. Morales talked about having a great time with Christine and Vanessa during the Thanksgiving holiday and that they all stayed at Morales' house with Christine and Vanessa during the Thanksgiving holiday.
When the jury was selected in this case, we chose 12 regular jurors and 4 alternate jurors. The reason why the alternate jurors were chosen was to take the place of a regular juror should one of the regular jurors be unable to continue his or her jury service with us. So under our law, if a regular juror is unable to continue, then an alternate juror is chosen by way of lottery to take the place of that regular juror. In this case, unfortunately, one of our regular jurors can no longer serve on the case and thus has been discharged or dismissed. I am first going to instruct you, please do not speculate as to why that juror has been dismissed or has been discharged or can no longer serve with us. That is of no concern to your role as jurors in this case. So accordingly, in that lottery, one of our alternates has been selected to take the place of that regular juror. Madam Clerk is going to ask that person to stand.
It's muted while she talks to the jury. I wonder why they left. We can speculate. What do y'all think? What do you think the reason is for that person leaving? I wonder if it was like too much, if they couldn't handle like seeing the blood and tissue like that. I mean, like we were discussing earlier, PCP, I mean, I've never done it, but from what I've heard, it's like bath salts on like freaking rocket fuel. You know, when bath salts came out, I thought it was like, I don't know if you remember like from the 90s or whatever, but we used to have these like oil bath things. And then we had like, it's like colored Epsom salt that you put in your bath that smells good and things. Like I always thought it was like bath salts.
Stop from the state, Your Honor.
Like
All right,
that.
very good. So is the state prepared to call its last witness for the day?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed.
Connecticut State Trooper Kevin Duggan.
Thank you.
Kevin Duggan.
And counsel, you'll give me
Yes.
notification. Thank you.
I don't know what the clip notes. What do you mean clip note? Like, what's the basics? Hold on.
Good afternoon. Please remain standing in the witness box. Madam Clerk is going to put you to oath. Thank you.
Hold on, Mandy.
Do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury?
Right?
Please state your full name, spell your last name, and state your badge number for the record.
Kevin Duggan, Duggan. My badge number is 224.
Okay, thank you.
You may be seated. Thank you. Of course.
Okay. This is Jose Morales. He is accused of committing homicide on his girlfriend, Christine Holloway, and their 1-year-old daughter, Vanessa, has been missing since the night that Christine died. Christine was found beaten to death with an organ cut out and laid beside her body or somewhere near her body. He claims he was on PCP and somebody punched him in the face when he tried to call 911. Hey, JoJo for show. I mean, I think they were feeling homicidal. Yeah, JoJo, thank you for hanging out. What are we doing? Lord have mercy, y'all. Can we get to it? Today, Junior.
Good afternoon, Trooper Duggan.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Mercedes.
Can you first of all tell us again, who are you affiliated with?
I'm with the Connecticut State Police, and I'm assigned to Central District Major Crime.
Can you first of all tell us a little bit about your background, training, and experience?
So my background is, at the time of this case, I was a detective assigned to the crime band stationed out of Hartford. And basically in the central part of the state, crime band responds and processes homicide scenes, police officer involved shooting scenes, and any type of major crime type of case that needs a scene processing.
So let's go back to your background, your training, and your experience as a police officer. Take us back from the beginning.
So I started the State Police Academy in 2007, graduated in May of 2008. I worked patrol for a while. Eventually, I was assigned as a detective within Central District Major Crime. Within that time, I have attended several crime scene processing classes, blood pattern analysis classes, and other classes associated with crime scene processing.
When did you become assigned to major crime?
December of 2015.
You had been with, then about the time of this case, you had been with the major crime for about 4 years?
Correct.
So, and can you tell me again, what exactly is the purpose of major crime?
Well, the purpose of major crime is basically to investigate more major crimes that occur within the state. So these investigations are more lengthy, more time consumed, more involved than a typical patrol function type of case.
So where the Connecticut State Police, are there parts of the state where the Connecticut State Police have primary jurisdiction?
There are.
But is it fair to say that the Connecticut State Police have jurisdiction anywhere within the state?
We do.
Are there times where other police departments who may not have the resources or the experience of the Connecticut State Police call on the Connecticut State Police for assistance?
They do.
And at that point in time,
Hey, Diana, good to see you, love.
will the Connecticut State Police send troopers such as yourself to assist local agencies?
They will.
So in a sense, does primary responsibility rest within the local agency, and effectively the Connecticut State Police are the assist agency?
They are.
I want to call your attention to December 2nd into the early morning hours of December 3rd of 2019. And first of all, were you a member of the Connecticut State Police on that date?
I was.
And were you assigned to the Central District Major Crime Unit?
I was.
And at some point in time, did you receive information with regard to rendering an assist to the Ansonia Police Department?
I did.
And were you made aware of the location of where your assistance was requested?
I did.
And what was that location?
6.5 Myrtle Ave in Ansonia, Connecticut.
And had you received some at least basic information as to what the nature of what Ansonia was dealing with?
I had.
And what was that?
Basically that they had a potential homicide scene and they needed us to process the scene of the crime.
And when you received that information, were you on or off duty?
I was off duty.
And what step, when you received that request, did you take?
Basically, my sergeant called me and basically said there's a potential homicide scene in Ansonia. He provided the address. I said, okay, and got dressed and went to the Troop I Bethany Barracks where we were placed on standby because the local police department was working on a search warrant for us to process the residents.
Okay. And so you went to Troop I in Bethany and you said, did you go there by yourself? Is this an undertaking you would take by yourself?
So I went there by myself, but the crime van consists of 5 detectives that work on this crime van. So we were all dispatched to the Bethany Barracks to wait for the search warrant to be completed. Once the search warrant was completed, we left the Bethany Barracks and arrived at 6.5 Myrtle Ave.
So was that all 5 of you together?
Yes.
So it's 4 other individuals
Not
plus
salty,
yourself.
Tony.
6 total. There's 5 detectives plus a sergeant.
Very good. And when you go to the scene, you indicated is there a van or a truck or something that you take?
Yes, there's a crime scene van, which is a large truck, and for lack of better terms, it's an office on wheels. All our crime scene processing equipment and a mobile office is on this truck, and that responds to any scene throughout the state.
And did you and the other individuals respond at some point in time to 6.5 Myrtle Avenue in Ansonia, Connecticut?
We did.
And first of all, do you recall the other members of your team that day?
I do.
And what were their names?
You had Sergeant Ralph Soda, myself, Detective Brian Conley, Detective Lindsay Valcourt, Detective Pete Farr, and Detective Scott Wisner.
And when you get there, just give us sort of an overview of how you determine, what each detective is doing.
So the sergeant is responsible for handing out assignments, and I was told I was going to be the primary for the state police as far as the scene processing.
And what does that mean, the primary for the state police?
So basically, I would be in charge of collecting and documenting any type of evidence that was taken from the apartment.
And when you say documenting, tell us a little bit about the different types of documentation that you state police engage in.
So there's a couple different types. We have one detective would be assigned to video recording the residents. We have two that are assigned to a primary and a backup set of photographs that document the residents. And then we have one detective who is in charge of running a Faro scanner, which is a 3D scanner, which makes a map or a crime scene map of the apartment.
And were the detectives all assigned their various tasks?
They were.
And so far as your task was concerned, again, could you tell us what your specific task was?
So I would be writing a report based on the scene, describing the scene and documenting our actions and documenting any evidence that was taken from the scene.
And now, as you begin to do your processing, are the detectives, your detectives, effectively all working together as you are processing a scene?
They are.
So can you just tell us in general, start us off with, if you will, about just a general what's involved in sort of processing a scene?
So basically, we would get a summary of the events and a summary of the investigations as to those steps that have been conducted prior to our arrival. And then
I'm so sorry, Diana. I'm so sorry.
We would go ahead and document the scene as we found it. And then we would search for evidence. We would collect evidence. If there's a victim on scene, we would document and seize any evidence from the victim. And at the end of the investigation, we would turn all our evidence over to the investigating police department.
All right. So now, with regard to, you gave us a little bit of information early on about your background and your training. Have you done this type of crime scene processing before?
Dozens of times.
Okay. And in terms of, do you process a scene much the same way every time?
Yes.
And why do you do it that way?
Training and experience and consistency.
So now, when you arrived at 6.5 Myrtle, I believe your testimony was that you were waiting for word from the local police department that a search warrant to enter the premises had been obtained?
Yes.
And did you receive information at some point that, in fact, there was a warrant to search this house?
We did.
And do you recall approximately what time you arrived on scene?
I believe we arrived on scene around 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. And do you recall when you actually began to effectively gain entry into the into 6.5 Myrtle?
Scene processing started at approximately 3:45 in the morning.
Okay. So even though you were on scene, you did not begin to undertake any action until shortly before 4 a.m.
Correct.
And when you talk about the first step of your process, you were discussing or describing at least documenting the scene before you begin to do any processing. Can you just tell us about that step again?
So basically, the sergeant and myself, being the primary investigator, would do a general walkthrough of the scene and surrounding area to get an overall list of objectives that we needed to complete to process the scene. After that's completed, the video recorder trooper or detective starts to video record the scene to document the scene as we found it. And the same thing with the photographers. A primary set of photographs and a backup set of photographs are taken, documenting everything that we have seen as we arrived.
So does your primary sort of preliminary evaluation, does it start in the interior or the exterior?
Exterior of the apartment.
Showing you, and so am I understanding you correctly that at least you and Sergeant Soto did a walk around effectively 6.5 Myrtle Ave?
Yes.
And at some point in time in that process, or thereafter, I'm sorry, you know what? So you and the sergeant did a preliminary walk around, right?
We did.
And at some point after the preliminary walk around, did you and the sergeant make some type of an interior walk around?
We did.
And can you describe that?
Basically, we checked the exterior of the residence, and then we proceeded to enter the apartment to assess what would further need to be done.
And was that at that time only you and the sergeant?
Correct.
And are you wearing body camera during this process?
No.
Why do you not wear body camera during this process?
At that time, we weren't issued body cameras.
So with regard then to any pictures or any video recordings that were made, are they being made at the time that you and the sergeant are either walking around the exterior or walking around the interior?
They were done immediately afterwards.
Okay. So then continuing, so you did your interior walk around with the sergeant and noted whatever you felt you needed to note mentally with regard to your scene?
Correct.
Okay. And then after having completed that process, what would be the next step in the process?
The next step, the video recording detective would go through and video record the entire scene.
And again, would that take a similar type of path, starting first with an exterior and then working through the interior?
Correct.
And what is the purpose of doing that?
To document the scene as we found it.
Before anyone or anything has started to touch or take any further action?
Correct.
And then after the video recording is done, what, if anything, would be the next step?
2 sets of photographs. So a primary photographer and a backup photographer.
And are they each operating independently?
They are.
But are they working basically side by side as these photographs are being taken?
They are.
And what is the purpose of doing that?
Well, the primary photographer takes photographs as to document the scene. The backup photographer takes photographs in case we were to have a mechanical issue with the camera and lose the photographs, or during processing of the photographs, in case something's lost, we have 1 set of photographs. It's also a different perspective, 2 different people, 2 different perspectives.
Of the same items?
Of the same items.
Now, with regard to, and again, is that photographic process, does that again incur or occur exterior to interior?
It does.
And after that process, after the photographing first of the exterior and then of the interior, what would be the next step in the process?
We would start searching for evidence.
Okay. Now let's just talk hypothetically. Hypothetically, if you find
Pretty much, Cracker.
something that you believe may have some evidentiary value, what steps do you take at that time?
We document the item of evidentiary value, we video record it, we photograph it further in depth, and then we collect it and seize it.
Okay. Talk about the collection of physical evidence. First of all, if you are...
Genevieve, I'm so sorry. I know y'all were hit by the storms. If y'all don't mind, please say a prayer for Genevieve in Tennessee. I'm sorry you're having to deal with that.
Collecting a piece of evidence, are you protecting yourself and the integrity of the evidence?
Yes.
By what means?
We wear gloves, we wear face masks, and we wear feet protection.
All right. And that, in theory, if I collect a piece of evidence, what happens to the protective garments or things that you have?
Once that piece of evidence is collected, those garments are discarded and new garments are put on.
So with each piece of subsequent evidence that you test, are you you're putting on new sets of protective garments?
We are.
And with regard to then, do you continue to move around and process the interior in that type of a manner?
We do.
Hypothetically speaking, if you are collecting, let's say, a liquid, something that you may suspect is blood, how exactly is that collected? How is that processed?
Blood is generally swabbed.
Okay. And can you describe the swabbing process for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
So a swabbing process is basically, you can imagine two type of Q-tip devices. And basically you take those are in packages, you open the package, you swab the area of blood-like substance that you want to take as evidence, and then you reseal it into special packaging, and then you further package it into an envelope.
Let me ask you, you just used the term a blood-like substance. Is that something that you use as a term of art in the processing of physical evidence?
It is.
So again, hypothetically, if you see something red on the floor at the time that you see it, that you suspect that it may be blood, at that point, how do you reference it?
Blood-like substance.
And prior to collecting it in the swabbing method that you have otherwise just identified, do you do anything or in the process to determine whether in fact this is blood?
We identify the area, and then we do a presumptive blood test, which is a Kastle-Myers chemical solution. And basically we test that area, and if it tests positive for the presence of blood, then we'll further swab the blood. If it tests negative, we won't necessarily swab that area of blood.
All right. So, and again, you used a term of art, Kastle-Myers. Can you sort of just explain for the for the people who are not sitting watching court TV all the time exactly what is the process of sort of testing this for blood?
So Kastle-Myers is a chemical solution, and basically you obtain a sample from the area that you're wishing to take the blood from, and you test it with chemicals, and depending on the reaction during the test, it'll turn a certain color. And if the Q-tip turns a certain color, it'll either react positively or negatively for the presence of blood.
And is that something that you have received training on?
I have.
And is that something that you have experienced in actual application in processing crime scenes?
I've used it in training, and I've used it in dozens of crime scenes.
Now, with regard to then other types of evidence that may not be something like a blood-like substance, let's say a physical piece of evidence, let's just say a garbage pail, that garbage pail there. If you were going to collect the garbage pail, how would you collect it?
I would basically write down a description of what the item is. I would photograph it, I would video record it, and I would find some type of appropriate packaging to place it in. I would place it in the package, I would seal it up, and I would put an evidence label on the front of the package.
And what type of information goes on the evidence label?
The evidence label is basically, it would have our case number, it would have the date and time that we seized the item of evidence, a brief description of the item of evidence, and the investigator that it was seized by.
Now, again, let's say that you're processing a scene that has multiple items of evidentiary value. As part of your documentation, how do you not confuse the various items for your reports?
Each item of evidence is given an evidence number as 1, 2, 3, 4, etc.
And do you have some equipment that you use to help you track each piece of evidentiary items in an area of value?
We do. We have a database on the computer.
How about something physically that you document in place as to where you found something?
I have a notepad.
How about, are you familiar with a placard?
Dandy notebook.
Yes.
And what is a placard?
A placard is basically a plastic piece of material with a number on it.
And what do you do with the placards at a scene?
You place it next to the item of evidence, and you basically take a picture and document that.
If y'all don't mind, please hit the thumbs up. I appreciate it.
Trash can, for example, you would place a placard next to it, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it may be, and take a picture of it with the placard so it shows in the future what number of evidence that is.
And again, as part of your processing, are you processing the items collected together with the placard number, together with the information that appears on the label of the container where the evidence is containerized?
We are.
Okay. So is that a sort of a control number for that particular item?
It is.
So now, with regard to all those generalized steps, did you apply those generalized steps to the assignment that you were undertaking at 6.5 Myrtle Avenue on December the 3rd of 2019 at approximately just before 4 a.m.?
Yes.
Showing you what has been previously marked, states 4. Is that monitor on in front of you?
It is.
No, not that one.
Oh,
That-
this monitor, no.
Is that not on? Yeah, please. I just want to be sure. Can you see this monitor?
I can.
So whichever monitor you're more comfortable with. First of all, do you generally recognize what this is?
I do.
And what do you recognize it to be?
It's an overall photograph of the front door to 6.5 Myrtle Ave.
Sorry, Ms.
Looking so
Stein, which
peaceful.
exhibit are we looking at?
I think it was 4, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And does this appear to be a photograph that was taken by a member of the major crime team that you talked about earlier?
Yes.
And again, is this sort of an exterior view as part of that original steps where you were doing you did a 360 walk around, and now the documentation, do you do a photographic 360?
Yes.
Showing you 5 is a full exhibit. Again, what do you generally recognize that to be?
So that's an overall picture of the front door and front entryway, which is the sole entryway to 6.5 Myrtle Ave.
All right. And again, is this appear to be a picture taken by major crime?
It does.
Showing you state 6 as a full exhibit. Can you tell us what we're seeing here?
This is an overall view from the side of the residence. So basically, this residence had a set of garages below it, and the residence sat on top of the garages.
State 7 as a full exhibit. What do you recognize this to be?
Yes, this is just a different view that shows the front entryway to 6.5 Myrtle Ave, the main entryway.
Is the left side of the building visible in this photo?
It is.
And finally, states 10.
Hannah, you know, I was thinking the same thing. It's so pretty. It's a shame the horrors that happened within it. Right. And imagine if like he really like did love them and show them lots of love, care, and attention, and was trying to be there for his daughter, and they had a good relationship like he referenced in what we were starting to read as far as the arrest warrant. And he comes in and is all flipped out, and she's scared to death, like don't understand what's happening because he smoked PCP. I couldn't imagine. Like thinking, you know, this is my man. He's going to protect me. I love him. He loves me. And then he comes in and is just fucking lost his fucking mind. Like I would be so, it it's a hard concept to come to terms with. You know what I mean?
Do you recognize this?
I do. So this photograph shows the garage doors below the apartment, and also you can see the back windows on the top portion of the photograph. Those windows they belong to the apartment, and they're currently open.
So during your preliminary walk around with Sergeant Soda,
We both need a Ricola, don't we?
did you note the window open to the resident
Thank you.
above the garage door?
We did.
I don't know, bad girl. I think he removed it or something with a knife. Girl, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I really am. Like, I'm trying to smoke less while I'm streaming. Been working on it since yesterday. You know, you got to start somewhere. I said, I suppose today's the day. So I am trying to cut back and quit eventually.
25 through 28. 23 through 23 through 20. Thank you.
Your Honor, I've just shown exhibits 23 through 28 that are marked, and Attorney Gavin has no objection.
No objection to the introduction, Your Honor.
All right, so again, what were those numbers?
23 through 28, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court will accept into evidence as full exhibit, no objection. Stage
Oh, I love
23
you
through
too.
28. Thank you.
Okay, one more second.
You're welcome. Indie girl. Kenny Jan. I know. I quit like everything else except cigarettes, coffee, and I actually just had to quit Red Bull because they stopped making peach Red Bull. Like, that's the only thing I drink other than coffee. I am absolutely devastated.
So, Detective, showing you what has now been marked as states 23.
Y'all, I stopped the Red Bull man in Walmart. Like, that was filling the cooler with Red Bull, and I was like, dude, I need peach Red Bull. Like, it's all I drink. And he was like, it's done. They're not even making anymore. I said, I heard they're making some kind of white peach Red Bull. He said, yeah, that's supposed to come out in about 2 weeks, but it's only for the summer. He said, peach Red Bull's a done deal. They're not bringing it back. I am absolutely devastated, y'all. Like, my heart is broke. I almost cried. I did. I stopped him. I was like, dude, where is the peach Red Bull? Like, I need it. I know. I'm so sad about it. But I'll have some white peach. I guess I'll have to stock up for the year this summer.
Do you generally recognize what this is?
I do. That's an overall photograph of the front door, main entryway of 6.5 Myrtle Ave.
Okay. So now, prior to entering, after the walkthrough with the sergeant, prior to entering, or is this now you've done a walk around? Are you beginning your entry into 6.5?
We are.
Oh,
For purposes of documenting what you find inside.
it's great.
We are.
I don't think I like it. Hold on. No, you can have it. Is there any other flavors in there? That's ugh.
Showing
That's
you
the only
what
one
is
in there?
now 24, Your Honor, is a door that's slightly ajar with 6.5 Myrtle.
Oh, really?
6.5
I need to
number
try it.
on the door.
Right, Diana?
Do you
I need
recognize
to.
what are we seeing here, Trooper Duggan?
So in this photograph, the storm door is propped open and the door to the apartment is pushed in and there's damage to the bottom portion of the door and door frame.
Had you received information, excuse me, from the Ansonia Police Department as to how this door was damaged?
Yes, I was told that during Ansonia Police's welfare check initial response that they had to force entry into the apartment because it was locked.
Now, showing you what has been marked as States 25 as a full exhibit. Can you tell me whether you recognize what this is?
Yes, so that's a close-up photograph of the locks to the exterior
Okay.
of the main door.
So this is the exterior side of the main door?
Yes.
And why, first of all, what are we seeing here? What did you notice about the locks? What was the purpose of taking this picture?
Purpose of taking this picture is to show that both locks are engaged in the locked position.
All right. And how are you able to determine, at least for the top lock, how are you able to determine that?
Because the deadbolt is out.
And the deadbolt, is that
Right.
that portion there?
Yes, that portion of the deadbolt would go into the door jamb if it were seated properly.
For the purpose of the record, Your Honor, I was pointing with my finger in the middle of the photo, just to the side of the brass lock. There is what appears to be a metallic
Humor.
cylinder that is extended out from the doorway.
Thank you, Attorney Stein.
So, I'm sorry, can you just sort of explain, well, we'll do it on a different photo.
I'm sure your husband loves you and doesn't mind seeing. I don't wear makeup. Eventually, if I do decide to come on camera, I'll probably start wearing makeup, but I don't wear makeup as of right now. But I know he loves you and didn't mind seeing you that way. I could insert a dirty adult joke right now, but I probably shouldn't.
So,
Boomer.
showing you now 26.
I've tried them. They're okay.
What are we seeing here?
So this is a side view of the door locks to the main door. And as you can see, the top deadbolt is engaged.
Did you make any observations with regard to whether there were any keys at all in this lock?
There were no keys in any of the locks.
Showing you what has been marked as States 27. Can you tell me whether you recognize what this is?
I do. That's the door jamb or door frame of the main entryway. You can see that it is damaged.
Right, Cracker?
And we were told that it was damaged during the Ansonia officer's initial response to the apartment.
So I'm going to zoom in on this center portion of the door jamb and ask you if you're sort of able, by words, if not, I would ask you to step down, what the significance of this damage is.
That damage was caused when Ansonia police kicked the door open.
More importantly, I guess, is the mechanics of it. Where we had the previous exhibits up that showed a piece of metal that's extending out from the lock set. Where would that engage somewhere here in this photograph?
It would on the top portion of the photograph. There's a slot where that cylinder would engage to.
So if this door were closed and the lock was engaged, would that lock sit in this part of the door jamb?
It would.
And that if the door were forced open, what would that cause? What would happen?
It would cause the damage to the door jamb that you're seeing.
And is this the door jamb on the back side here?
Part of it.
And what about this here? What is this?
That's the bottom portion of the lock.
All right, so Attorney Stein, again, we need to make a record.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot of what is this, what is that, and
Boomer, yeah, that's the truth. I've got like that icebreaker mint gum. I've got Jolly Ranchers. I've got Dum Dum Suckers. I only like one flavor. Like, I'm weird. Like, there will be one flavor of something that I like. I only like blue raspberry Jolly Ranchers, and I only like the blue raspberry Dum Dums. Sometimes I'll eat watermelon Jolly Ranchers, but those are the only two out of the whole bag I'll eat. The Dum Dums is only the blue raspberry, and I give the kids the rest. I got like a 300 bag thing, and that has helped, especially when streaming, to have a sucker or something. My landlord gave me this thing. It's called Health Vape. And it says Boost Watermelon. It's watermelon flavored, and it's got vitamin B12, BOL-thiamine, and taurine. I don't know. It's for energy, and it works like a cigarette. That's been helping because it's like something I can put in my mouth and smoke on. Yeah, the cops kicked the door open. Yeah, so I'm trying. I'm working on it because my voice is right now. It's what, runs the channel, makes money off the channel, and it's what people know allegedly speculating as. So I've got to quit smoking, or I can't be losing my voice.
Unfortunately, transcript won't pick that up.
I got you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Can I just
Attorney-
interject for 1
yeah.
second?
Yes.
Obviously, we can't see what's on that screen.
Right,
I'm just wondering
scratch.
if Attorney Stein uses the pointer on
Maybe.
the Elmo so that we could all see it, the witness could see it, we could see it, because when he points up on the big screen, we have no idea what he's
I
pointing at.
appreciate that concern. Attorney Gavin, that's a valid concern. So Attorney Stein, why don't you please recap that, either by using the Elmo or by perhaps using the actual exhibit itself as a real item and showing it to the witness here by approaching the witness one.
So with regard to this top portion of the door jamb here, is this the section where the deadbolt would engage the door frame?
Yes.
And that, Your Honor, is in the middle. It's in the middle part of the photograph, and it is a wooden section that appears to be broken out.
All right, on the top. It is in the middle of the photograph, top wooden section that appears to be broken out. You may proceed.
And again, just below that, Detective Duggan, is there a similar part of the wood door jamb that appears to be broken out?
Yes.
And what would this engage?
That would be the lower lock.
And on the opposite side, the left edge of the photograph, is there a piece of broken wood that seems to match up with the broken part that is still connected to the door frame?
Yes.
And showing you what has been marked states 28. Again, what does this depict?
So this photograph was taken from within the entryway of the apartment, looking to the outside, showing the damaged door frame and the door locks that were engaged.
So effectively, have we just gone 360 around the door and the door frame?
Those are good,
We have.
Diana.
And again, this starting at the top of the photograph and extending 3/4 of the way down on the left side of the picture, this piece of wood, where does that come from?
I've made
That's
that.
part of the door jamb.
I've made it, Nessa. It's good. Oh, Julie, that sucks. Oh, goodness. Boomer, that's awful. I'm sorry. I've made that pine needle soda. It is good because there's pine trees all over. That's like what North Carolina is known for, is pine trees.
So you have now entered into 6.5, and you have documented the only doorway in and out of this residential unit at that point. Is that fair?
Yes.
And now as you begin to step into the unit, can you tell us, you told us earlier that you photograph things and video in place before you touch anything?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as 29. Goes right on that way. Can you generally tell us what this appears to be?
All right. Again, so we're in the main hallway or the entryway of the apartment. We're still in the entryway. And that is an overall photograph showing the living room and kitchen and a recycling bin on the entryway of the apartment.
All right, can
May I have 1 second?
Yeah, I don't think I've accepted 29 into the record as full.
So again, working around that clockwise. This is 32, 33, 1 kitchen, 4, closer cabinets, 35, bedroom, 6.
You should. I thank Jesus every day I'm here too, love. It's I couldn't imagine going through that. That's awful. I'm sorry.
Your Honor, there's a whole series of photographs. I have no objection to the introduction of photos.
Okay,
There
so
are 29, Your Honor, through 39.
29 through 39, defense counsel has had an opportunity to take a look at those, has no objection. Court will accept them into record as full.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back on 29. Again, generally, can you tell us what this is?
So we just passed the front doorway. We're in the main entryway or hallway of the apartment, and we're looking in. So we see the living room and the kitchen and a recycling bin on the right-hand side of the photograph.
And what's the approximate distance? How long is this foyer, this entryway into the unit?
It's tiled, and it's about 4 to 5 feet long.
And you mentioned this recycling bin. Would it be important, or did you ultimately document the contents of this recycling bin?
We did.
Showing you what has been marked as states 30. Did you, is this what was inside that recycling bin?
It was.
Again, I think on the bottom portion of the photograph, is that the black pail that these items were contained inside?
It is.
And zooming in on just several of the items, does this appear to be water bottles, beer cans, Coke bottle, juice bottle of some sort? Is that what was contained in there?
Yes.
I noticed that natural ice, beer cans. I'm sure she wasn't
Showing
drinking
you
that.
what's been marked now as states 31. Can you generally identify what this is?
Yes. So as you enter the apartment, you walk on the tiled floorway for about 4 to 5 feet, and then you enter the living portion of the apartment, which is a carpet or rug. And it's a gray colored rug. And in this photograph, the gray colored rug has a large portion of reddish stains on the rug.
And what was the purpose of taking this picture?
To document the stains.
And first of all, just again, to acclimate, with my finger in the bottom right-hand corner of the photograph, is that the black recycling bin?
It is.
And where my finger is now on the carpeting area on the center to right side, is this the blood-stained area, or I'm sorry, is this the red-stained area that you observed?
It is.
Me too.
Again, from states 32, can you tell me
We got a lot in common, Bonnie.
if you generally recognize what this is?
Yes. So this, you enter the apartment, and if you're entering the apartment from the main doorway and you look to the right,
Would that be from here where my finger is? Again, is this the black garbage pail? on
that's the
right
black.
side?
Yes.
Entering in and, I'm sorry, to continue with what you were describing?
So you enter into the apartment, and this is the right side of the apartment. This is what we saw.
And is this a photograph that was taken documenting the original condition as you found it?
It is.
Continuing, states 33, do you recognize
I had to try that.
generally what this is?
I do. So again, we're in the main living area of the apartment, and we're looking towards what is the kitchen of the apartment. And as you're looking at this, you can see the kitchen sink, kitchen cabinets with child safety locks, You can see a kitchen island. And of note on this photograph, you can see candles that are burning.
Well, let's come.
That's a nice kitchen. Yeah, when I have buckets of sugar, rice, and flour. And when you say you have buckets of that, especially like in your pantry, like actual buckets of organic sugar, organic flour. I've got one of organic oats for oatmeal, and just regular rice. But like, yeah. I very much, I've got a bunch of canned goods. I grow stuff, I've got the garden going and things like that. So yeah, I try to be prepared. We have an emergency radio. We have some like little solar panels to charge your phone that are like off of Temu or something. But, I've got what they call a bug out bag. We have those just, yeah. I mean, it's just good to be prepared regardless, not necessarily even you say like prepping, people are like, oh my God, you're a doomsday person. And it's not even really that. I mean, you want to have those things ready to go. A hurricane could hit, a tornado, fires. I mean, you've got to be able to grab stuff and go. So it's good to have regardless.
Let's come to a couple of things. First of all, there appears in the back of the photograph along this wall here, on the right side of the photograph, Your Honor, appears purple and gray a shade drapes.
Right.
Are you aware what is behind those drapes?
Is he?
Windows.
I didn't know that.
Okay. Do you know which window?
Those were the windows that we saw from the outside. Those windows were found to be open.
Is that the bay window in the back of the house above the garage?
It is.
So those drapes are directly behind the open bay window.
They are.
And you made mention about candles. Do you see anything in this photograph that indicates what you're referring to?
Yes, you can see the candles to the right of the water bottle.
For the record, Your Honor, there's a water bottle in the center of the photograph, and there's what appears to be a burning candle to the right. Did you also happen to take note of on the
classic one
cabinets? What are these white things?
Yep.
Those are child safety locks.
And did you notice whether they were engaged or disengaged?
They were all engaged or otherwise in the locked position.
Oh, goodness. The Bellas.
Showing you 34.
It's storable in a can, but from what I understand, you can can milk. I want to make ghee, which is basically you cook butter down and you can store it. I want to work on that. That's like one of the next things that I want to do. Also, got an Amish cookbook, and I want to try some of the stuff that she makes.
As a full exhibit. Can you tell me again, what's the overall point of view of this photograph?
So this would be an overall photograph of the kitchen. Now we're looking towards the left side of the apartment. And in this photograph, you can see the kitchen sink. You can see the candles that are burning on the island. You can see the stove. You can see the microwave.
And again, back on the candles for a second. Is this zooming in on this?
I did.
The bottom portion of the picture, Your Honor. Are all three of these candles burning?
They're all burning, and they appear to have been burning for a period of time.
And how are you able to reach that conclusion?
Because you can see the liquid from the candle in a liquid state and not in a wax state.
And approximately now, what time would these pictures have been taken?
After 3:45 in the morning.
Okay, on Tuesday, December the 3rd.
Correct.
States 35. Generally recognize what this is.
Yes, that's an overall view of the kitchen. That just shows the kitchen floor, the kitchen sink, and it shows all the door locks or the child safety locks on the kitchen cabinets.
$36. What do you recognize as the bed?
So if you enter the apartment from the doorway and you're standing in the middle of the apartment and you look left, this appears to be a bedroom area of the apartment. And in this photograph, you see a bed that has no comforter, no sheets on it, and other bedding and clothing items surrounding the bed.
$37. Can you generally identify what this is?
So now we are standing next to the bed, looking towards the main entryway of the apartment. And in this photograph, you see the fan, you see the dresser, and you see the lower portion of the bed, or the foot portion of the bed.
Now, with regard to, there's a set of what appear to be bifold doors over here on this right side of the photograph. Is there any, and appears to be some bleach bottles. Is there anything over in that area?
It's a small closet area.
And what was in the closet?
Clothes and cleaning products.
Was there a washer and a dryer in there?
There was.
And $38, the full exhibit. Do you generally recognize what this is?
I do. So this photograph was taken basically from the center of the apartment. To the right, you'll see the dresser that was in the bedroom portion of the apartment. And this is to the bathroom of the apartment. This is the main entryway to the bathroom.
All right. Now, can you just, again, acclimate us? What is this item, right side of the photograph, brown item? What is that item?
That would be the dresser that's in the bedroom portion of the apartment.
So was there a wall or was this dresser being used functionally as a divider?
As a divider.
And what is immediately to the left of this photograph that is not depicted in the photograph?
The main entryway to the apartment.
And finally, showing you states 39 as a.
So Genevieve, it's like a house, and she lived in the top portion. The bottom portion, Mr. George O'Mara lived in the bottom portion, and he heard footsteps. That was about it. He heard loud talking, I do believe he said. And he would hear often fast footsteps, and he said it was probably the toddler, the baby running around and things like that.
As a full exhibit, can you tell me generally whether you recognize what this is?
So this is a closer view. As you enter the bathroom, this is the view that you see as you enter the bathroom. So you can see the bathroom sink, and there's two candles on the bathroom sink. One is burning, the other is not.
And again, zooming in, is that the candle that is still burning when you documented this at about sometime after 3:45 a.m. on December the 3rd of 2019?
Yes, and it's not represented great in this photograph, but the candle had been burning for a period of time, as there is liquid in the candle and it's not in the wax form.
This may be an appropriate breaking point, Your Honor.
All right. So
Are you serious?
3:22, court's going to stand in the afternoon recess. So we will be in recess for 15 minutes. We'll be back for the continuation of evidence after that. Again, I'll just remind the jurors to regard their instructions under the oath. Thank you. Court's in recess.
Like you're so ridiculous. You've been in court for an hour and a half, and you're gonna break again. Are for freaking real. Let me pull this up on my phone. Let me see. I mean, we probably are not. No, we're not. All right, let me pull this up on my phone and I'll show you that girl. Because I want to be able to see when we come back to trial. I'll show you that girl. So this girl, her name is, I believe, let me make sure I'm not muted. No, I'm not. Her name is Lavinia or Lavinia. She used to be Amish, but she left. And I had seen her cooking. Like, she does shorts, and like she made some things that I really liked. And so I made a playlist. That's actually where I'm going to go. Oh, hold on. I didn't mean to click that. So she links her Amish cookbook. I got the cookbook and the Amish remedies. Like, it tells you all kinds of things, like how to remove stains from your clothes, how to keep flies out of your house, all of the things like that. I had to find the playlist. It's probably way down. I use it a lot, but I made it a long time ago. And she links her cookbook to where you can purchase it. And I bought it. I bought the cookbook and the remedies, because I'm really into like Amish remedies. It tells you how to make soaps and things like that, which I know how to make soap, but I think she makes hers on like a bigger scale. But it's a cookbook you buy and you print it out. And I bought it and I was really happy with it. So let's see, we'll watch this one. I will link her in the description box, and I'll link her cookbook as well if I can get it. But it's on like Socials by Lavinia. And you click on the website and you buy it. I think it was like $30 for both of them, for the cookbook and the remedies. Now, she's left the Amish.
Today is the day my fry pie people finally get their long-awaited fry pie video. And before you...
So, I don't think she's Amish anymore. I think she left, but she's always making, like, she made that cereal, grape nuts or whatever. She made some of that. Like, she makes stuff all the time.
Get all excited and expect professional, beautiful fry pies. I'm just going to warn you, I'm going to try my best, but as many times as you make fry pies, you will never know the outcome until it's done, because fry pies are very tricky to make. For the crust, we have some cake flour and sugar and salt, and the cake flour I made myself in here. I made a video on it a while ago. Take a fork and mix that together.
See, I want to know how to make cake flour. She has graham flour that she uses, like...
a little, and we're going to add some water, mix that in a little, and cut in your shortening or butter. And this is where I like to go in with my hands and knead it. This is kind of what your dough should look like. It should be stiff, but still very manageable. Before you do anything else, go put your deep fat on the stove so it can heat up, or your deep frying oil, whatever you're going to use. And while that's heating up, I'm going to make my glaze using dry milk, some cornstarch, whisk that together a little, then add a little bit of your powdered sugar, whisk it together. And now we're going to add some warm water. Whisk it in, and it'll probably get really runny. Now we're going to add the rest of our powdered sugar, and also your vanilla. Now we want to whisk that until it's smooth. Okay, it's too stiff, so I'm going to add a little bit of water at a time and whisk it in until it's the consistency I want it to be. Okay, I got this.
See, like, she gives good instructions and she makes it. Yeah, they are. And they make good furniture. Like, y'all, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I could do the strong religious requirements, but other than that, I'm down. Like, take me to Amish country. I don't know if I could do the strong religious requirements to a T. I might get in trouble with that, but the rest of it, I would be in heaven.
That's the right consistency now. I'm going to take our dough out of the bowl, and you shouldn't have to flour your surface, and you want to cut it into the amount of pieces that it's supposed to make pies. I'm making half a batch of what the recipe says, so I'm making it into 6 pieces. Roll each one into a ball, and now we're going to take our rolling pin and roll these out. I want the dough to be pretty thin. We have this thing right here. Put your rollout dough on there. Make sure it goes out to the edges. And now you need some kind of cold filling. I'm using cherry filling. And you want it to be pretty thick. We're going to put 1 tablespoon on 1/2 of the pie. You have to be really careful that you don't overfill it. Now take your fingers, dip them in water, and go around the edges of half of the pie. And we're going to crimp this together. Make sure it's nice and crimped. Then just take your finger and scrape off the excess dough. Gently open it up, take it off, and it should look something like this. We're going to lay that aside and make another one. And you do not want to let these sit with the filling for a while, so I have made 2, so now we're going to go deep fry them. Make sure your oil is the right temperature, then gently drop them in. You also don't want to put too many in at a time. Once your pies are done, you can kind of tell by how long they've been in and how they act when they're in there. You don't want your oil too hot or they're going to burst open or burn before they're done. We're going to take them out, and I have a rack on my pan here. Put them on there for the oil to drip off. Now, while those things are still warm, we're going to drop them in our glaze. And the more they cool off before you glaze them, the thicker the glaze is going to be. Now I have another pan and rack set up like this that I'm going to put them on to let the glaze drip off. Now we set these aside to cool and dry. These are cooled down and dried now, and they are looking beautiful. For some reason, I think these are going to be good. It just looks gorgeous. Let's break it in half once. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Take a bite. Heaven there. This recipe is in my Amish cookbook, and it is one of my favorite recipes. You can make it with any filling you want. Lemon, any fruit filling, chocolate filling, coconut filling, whatever's your favorite, make it. And you might want to make plenty of them because they're delicious. My Amish cookbook is on my website if you want to get it. Enjoy!
So yeah, she's got I saw enough of those videos where she kept talking about that cookbook, and I went and looked, and then I saw it had like the home remedy stuff too, and I was like, oh, you got me. I'm buying it. I sent a copy of it, or I sent the files to my daughter. So I've got it printed out, and I want to make some of the stuff that's in there that she makes. If my computer will stop acting crazy. I was going to show you something else, and I forgot what it was.
Today is the day my fry pie people finally get their long-awaited fry.
We'll look at one more. They're still not back in court. We'll look at one more before we go look at something else. I wonder what this pink Jello one is that I saved. What are we doing? You called them.
We used to make
pink apple Jello. Like, I've never heard of that before. You know, you hear something like that, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is that?
A very simple dessert when I was growing up. We always call it apple cello. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make that. Start by whisking together boiling water and whatever flavored cello powder that you want. Once the cello powder is all dissolved, you add some cold water and whisk that together. And we're going to go cool this off until it starts chelling a little. Now, while that is cooling off, I'm going to make some whipping cream. Whip it up until it's stiff. This is stiff enough now, so we're going to set it aside. Now, in a separate bowl, we're going to put in some cream cheese. Cream that up a little, and it works better if you make sure your cream cheese is soft before doing this. And we're going to add a little bit of powdered sugar at a time to the cream cheese and cream it in. Once you have your cream cheese all creamed in, add some vanilla. We're going to stir that in too. And we're going to put our cream cheese mixture into the whipped cream and whip that in. It should be pretty stiff by now. And we're going to set that aside. Then we're also going to shred up an apple, or enough apples for the recipe. Once your cello starts to slightly set, we're going to put in our shredded apple and the whipped cream and cream cheese mixture. Now whisk that together. Once it's all whisked together, we're going to pour it into a casserole and cover it, and we're going to refrigerate it for 4 hours or overnight. This has set now, so I'm going to take some out.
Look at that.
It looks really pretty. I use cherry cello. Let's taste and see if it's good. It's like cherry cheesecake kind of with apples. Oh, it is so delicious. This complete recipe is in my Amish cookbook if you want to click the link on my profile. Enjoy!
I want some of that. Like, I want some of that. She says a lot of times they'll make stuff, and it's like everything hot they would eat applesauce with. Like, I've never heard that before. I'm going to see if I can show you where her cookbook is. I can get her profile. Yeah. Okay, let me show you her profile. She's got like hundreds of videos where she's just doing the cooking and stuff. So you go here. She says her thing is at literally just a girl. She says, I grew up Amish and I'm the second oldest in my family with 13 kids. If you want to learn more about the Amish, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel. And then you go right here where it says website and it says socials by Lavinia. I do believe that's where it's at. And I'll share this with you so you guys can find it. Yep. So this is what it looks like when you click on that link. And then you go down here and like this first square right here, that's just the cookbook and it has 150 recipes. And then that's just the remedies one. And then down here, it is the remedies and the cookbook. And you can click on it. Yeah. And then and it has 3 documents. It has the sourdough bread starter. And then you put your information in and you buy it. I bought it. It's not a scam. Like I did it just like this. And it is a digital download. So once you buy it, you'll get the download and you download the files. Yeah, they eat applesauce with like everything, anything warm. Like she made this tater tot like pie stuff. Like, I don't know, it was tater tots and cheese and like cream of mushroom soup. And I don't know. And she put it in the oven and she was like, anything warm, they would eat applesauce with it. And I was like, what? Are you serious? Like, I don't know. Hold on. Sorry. I'm trying to get it back to the trial. They're stepping into court now. I'll try it like this. I might have to go to history. But I've never heard of eating applesauce with like everything that's warm. Like
very simple dessert when I was growing up. We always call it apple cello. So today I'm going to
she'll be making like meat or something and they'll have applesauce with it. Taco salad, they'll have applesauce with it. Yeah, pork chops and applesauce. I'm like, why are we having applesauce?
And that's the case. There's been testimony to it. And Dr. Jim Gill is going to come in and testify in regard to the autopsy.
I had to back it up to see what he's complaining about now. All right, we're back from the break. What time is it? 1:42:07. Hold on a minute. I'm going to skip it ahead. I just wanted to see what he's bitching about. Excuse my French. All right, come on now. Your mom put warm applesauce on turkey? Really? See, I've never heard of anything like that. Like, that's crazy to me. They do that in Denmark? Really? The more you know.
It's my understanding that we're going to have additional exhibits introduced. Attorney Gavin, I was anticipating an objection relative to perhaps some of the exhibits because you were kind enough to bring it to the court's attention earlier before we brought the jury in and had to remove the jury. So at this point in time, are you prepared to move forward on an objection relative to anticipated evidence? All right, why don't I hear that on the record now before we bring the jury in?
I appreciate that, and I appreciate the state breaking at this juncture. Your Honor, pre-marked for identification purposes are exhibits 40 through 47.
All right, and who has those exhibits?
I do.
Datish, I believe, audience.
Thank you, Attorney Stein. All right, and Attorney Gavin?
Your Honor, obviously there's evidence that there was a death in this case. Sergeant Barrera testified to it. This is no...
Oh, that sounds good.
The photos that Your Honor had, excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, yes.
Those are not there. Oh, Your Honor, do you?
Maybe
sorry,
better.
I'm far away, but
You can approach the bench.
You have photographs from the tub?
I do.
Okay, that's what I'm sorry, I couldn't see that.
Huh.
It's okay.
So I have a blanket objection that the there is no need to have duplicative photos in regard to the corpse of Christine Holloway being found in the bathtub. We understand that that's the case. There's been testimony to it. And Dr. Jim Gill is going to come in and testify in regard to the autopsy. My objection, Your Honor, is that those photos are cumulative. They do not provide any additional forensic evidence that's relevant to the case. They're prejudicial for their admission purposes. And I would
I strongly disagree.
Respectfully suggest that the prejudicial effect of that set of evidence is outweighed by its probative value. So I'm going to object, and perhaps there's a way to cull through them and use one or two of them, but the state would have to describe what the significance of each one of those photos are. Thank you.
All right. Attorney Stein?
Yes, Your Honor. As this matter was discussed previously in chambers between the parties, I can tell the court that there were dozens and dozens of photographs taken. I have culled them down to separate photographs that I have a distinct purpose for using each one as an overall representation of the crime scene and the state of Christine Holloway when she was found on December the 2nd and into the early morning hours of December the 3rd of 2019. The probative value far outweighs any prejudicial effect, and I would ask that the court admit all of these.
Okay. All right. And so, Attorney Gavin, you've had an opportunity to review all of these exhibits, and I just want to make sure that I'm clear. So 40 through 47, there are a lot of exhibits here, and some depict something such as blood on a wall. Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure that you have an objection to each and every single one of these exhibits coming in as a full exhibit. And one appears to be a picture of a window. So I just want to make sure I'm making a clear record. So did you both want to approach the bench perhaps and just point out by number, or just pull out any exhibits that you, if you don't have an objection, pull out those exhibits from the court?
He is, isn't he, Hannah? Yeah, I make that for Thanksgiving, bad girl.
Yes. Certainly. Okay, thank you. We are.
I'll get these back.
Certainly. You're welcome. All right, so I'll just note for purposes of the record that the attorneys did approach the bench for a sidebar to go through the exhibits, and I will hold this one up. It appears to be a picture of a bathroom, interior of a shower or tub perhaps, and then a window that was marked as 44 for ID. Attorney Gavin, you have no objection to that?
No objection to that.
All right, so the court's ruling will not take into consideration that particular photo. So that leaves the court with 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. I'm sorry, 45, not 44. 46 and 47. 44 is not at issue. All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to add, Attorney Gavin?
Just that obviously it's the same photograph from different vantage points. We're not disputing that, and we're not contesting the fact that Christine's body was found in the bathtub. So there's got to be some reason that the state can proffer, that there's some forensic reason to go ahead and repeatedly show the jury the same photographs from different perspectives over and over. I think it's highly prejudicial, especially the last set of them. Thank you.
the little word that Attorney Gavin threw in there, forensic, is not any grounds for whether I can use a photograph as a fair and accurate representation for this jury to see. And if there's individual pieces of evidence that may have some significant value in each one of those photographs, then it is my right to be able to display and to make those determinations to the jury out of the dozens of photos that the police took. This was a mindful paring down of this information, and to exclude it would be highly prejudicial to the state. The probative value is certainly present.
All right, thank you. So the court has had the opportunity to take a look at each of these proposed exhibits that have been marked for identification purposes.
Yeah.
In general, the court will state for the record, they do propose to depict a deceased woman's body in a bathroom tub. There are various angles and various portions of the body that are basically zoomed in on. I think that Attorney Gavin's objection goes to the fact that there are multiple pictures depicting a body, basically in what I'll describe as a gruesome condition. I understand your objection, Attorney Gavin. However, I just want to point out a few things. There are no duplicates in terms of these photos. They are taken from different perspectives, and they do depict various close-ups of certain areas of the body. These are not 4 or 5 photos of the same exact thing. They are photos that depict with clarity certain areas of the body that can't be seen in certain photos. For instance, exhibit number 40 appears to depict a woman in a bathtub from a distance back. Does include the woman's head down, almost a full body shot, but not entirely. The exhibit number 41 that's being offered does not show the body in full, shows perhaps some skin of the body, maybe a shoulder or back.
I mean, admit the photos. We need it for, I mean, to be able to make a accurate judgment, and the jury needs to see that to understand the gravity of the situation. I mean, his defense, like you said, his defense be defensing, but I mean, it's got to be admitted.
I can't tell. I didn't take the photos, so I'm not sure, but really, the main gist of this photo appears to be a red blood-like substance on the tile wall. 42 is taken from a different angle and shows additional parts of the body, which includes multiple legs and various areas of that leg, as well as additional blood-like substance on the base of the bathtub. Proposed 43 shows a portion of the body. Again, you're not getting the full view of the body. You're getting a different area of the bathroom, which includes a bathroom or a pink garment hanging on a bathroom door. Now, 45 is a close-up photo of the face of a woman, and that face is not shown in any of the other photos. 46 is also a picture concerning the upper portion of that particular female body, and that shows the side of that body's head. Again, not depicted in any of the other photos necessarily. And then the photo 47 actually shows appears to be the back of that body.
Right.
Again, not clearly depicted in any of the other photos. So the photos do not appear to be cumulative. Relative to the prejudicial effect of the photos due to their gruesome nature, I just want to point out that the information in this case charges murder. I also want to point out that the information charges murder due to the striking of Christine Holloway multiple times in the head and torso with an instrument that created several round-shaped marks. That measured approximately 1 inch in diameter, severely fracturing her skull and causing other blunt force injuries, which resulted in her death. So the state has quite the burden to prove and has to enter into evidence, facts that will support issues, including but not limited to death, intent to cause death, manner of death, and these photos and pictures are relevant with respect to that.
Yep.
I do not find that they are cumulative. I find that they are relative to the facts set forth in the amended information as just read into the record. I believe that each of these photos will establish specific facts and have individual relevancy concerning the nature of the charges and the elements that the state is required to prove. I have balanced these multiple photographs. They serve an evidentiary purpose that is not overly prejudicial to the defendant, given the charge here and given what is depicted in each of those photographs, wherefore the court finds the probative value is outweighed. It does outweigh any prejudicial effect, wherefore the court would be inclined to allow these photos to come in as full exhibits.
Thank you.
And I'm glad we did this outside the presence of the jury. And I do appreciate the cooperation of counsel in raising the issue outside the presence of the jury. Counsel, if you'd please retrieve the exhibits.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And let me just give you the other one, which was not, no, Attorney Stein.
Like, I mean, he's got to be able to present his
We
case.
Assume that
Come on now.
they're all full exhibits.
If the state wishes to go ahead and mark them as full exhibits right now, I mean, listen, Attorney Gavin, let me just say this. Relevant to your argument, I would be inclined to mark them as full exhibits. However, I've not heard a foundation for them yet. If you're not contesting the foundation, then
girl.
I'm fine and we'll go ahead and mark them. Or we can lay the foundation with the witness and I'll make an ultimate decision.
I prefer to do that. I just don't want to interrupt the process
Right.
here.
Okay, so I have to make a clear record, obviously. So with respect to their prejudicial nature, your objection is overruled. I would be inclined to allow them in as a full exhibit. However, I am not making that determination unless you agree to the foundational aspect and the accuracy. In other words, the authentication of the documents.
And I'm sure that the detective can go ahead and do that. I just don't want to stand up and object on every photo.
Okay.
So if the court would just accept my blanket objection as has been discussed in the colloquy,
Okay.
then.
All right, so we'll lay the foundation with
Yeah,
the
that would be great.
with the
Exactly, Judy.
detective, if that was your intent. And Attorney Stein, you can do that, and you can also probably do that in general as a group of photos if you want to do that first, and then you can go through each of the photos so that we could deal with that overall objection and we don't have to do it one by one. So
Very good.
I leave that to you, whatever you're most comfortable with. It's your case.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Was there anything else?
May I just inquire, I noticed it's 5 to 4, at what time the court thinks, so I can sort of understand where a logical breaking point will be for me.
So Attorney Stein, approximately how much longer do you have with this particular witness?
He will not be completed today.
Okay, so then what I would like to do is, I know we have something else we need to
Don't
discuss
in
off the
court.
record too. So why don't we make sure that we wrap up by 4:30 today, if we have to come back tomorrow anyway.
Very good.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
All right.
Unless, if you're right close to a certain segment, just, go over a little bit, but if you could just keep an eye on the clock, that'd be great.
Very good.
Okay. All right.
I would just, again, ask the court that this would be an opportunity for anybody who might be upset by these images.
This is going to be triggering.
All right, so for the record, I mean, we do this generally for spectators and or family members of the victim, et cetera, when we're going to place materials into the record that may be deemed sensitive. So I just want to let viewers know, or anyone sitting in the courtroom, if you have access to viewing the screens here that display the exhibit, that the exhibits that are going to be displayed shortly when the jury comes in will most likely contain some sensitive materials. So if you find that sensitive materials will upset you, or you'll find those disturbing, perhaps this would be a good time to turn away from the display of the exhibits as the trial proceeds forward.
My concern as well, I would just ask the court, that if anyone becomes upset, any sort of displays would be interruptive of my presentation to the jury and distracting to the jury.
All right. So yes, obviously we can't control our emotions and we can't control our feelings, but if I do have members of the audience who feel that they would get upset and they decide to stay, or they don't think they would get upset and decide to stay and at any time feel that they are getting upset by the display or discussion of this particular material, I would ask you please to do your best to preclude the jury from seeing that emotion, and if so necessitated, if it's that much of an emotional response that you feel it's visible to the jury, I would ask you to use your best judgment and exit the courtroom so that the jury does not have to see that without there having to be an interruption by counsel or the marshals. Thank you. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, let's bring the jury in.
Yeah, like for real. That girl, I was going to say, I was waiting for them to bring the jury in. I was going to say, I hope your hubby is taking care of you, because I know that you asked for prayers for him with his surgery, and we were keeping him in our thoughts and prayers. I hope that you're being taken care of, sweetheart. And I'm so sorry you're dealing with that. I could not imagine. And there's like nothing you can do. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, if they show these pictures, it's going to be triggering. We're going to see a very horrific display of what this person is alleged of doing. So I'm giving you your trigger warning now.
Counsel, if you'd stipulate to the return of our jury.
Stipulate the
All
rest.
14, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Attorney Stein, you may, well, call your witness back to the stand. Thank you. Welcome back. Please come on up and have a seat. And I just want to remind you that you do remain under the obligations of your oath, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Attorney Stein, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I approach?
You may.
202. Are we already approaching? Come on, dog.
Showing you what has been marked. States 40 for identification, 41 for identification,
Okay.
42 for identification,
Thought he was asking to speak to the judge again. I was like, what the hell, Sam?
3 for identification,
What the Sam hell?
45 for identification, 44 is a full exhibit, Your Honor.
You can move for it to be full. I'll hear no objection on
No,
that.
40,
No objection.
44 was
44?
the
No,
one.
no, no, I know, but I just didn't do it yet.
And I have no objection to that introduction. As a full
44 is a full exhibit, please.
All right, so court will accept into evidence states 44 with no objection. Thank you.
45 for identification. 46 for identification. And 47 for identification. Can you tell me, Detective Duggan, first of all, do you recognize what these items are?
I do.
And what do you recognize them to be?
They are overall photographs of the victim as we found her.
Would this be the victim at 6.5?
Objection to the term victim.
Oh, God.
Nobody's been established as a victim in this.
Okay, so.
Your Honor, it's a pejorative term. The woman, I believe, is dead. I think
I mean,
victimization.
really?
Okay, so we're going to refer to the woman as the decedent. I am going to sustain the objection. I'm going to strike the term victim, and we're going to move on.
Can't use blood. Can't use murder. Can't use.
Is this a fair and accurate representation of the decedent as you found her on December 3rd of 2019?
Yes,
And were you present when these photographs were taken?
I was.
I would offer them, Your Honor.
Sir, do they represent fairly and accurately what they depict in the photograph?
They do.
All right. I'll go ahead and find that the proper foundation was laid. Attorney Gavin, your running objection on those exhibits is noted, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
All right, court will accept them into evidence as full exhibits.
May I publish them?
Of course.
Right?
I left you off, Detective
With the
Duggan,
Sam
before
Hale.
the break. The last photograph that you saw was stepping up to the bathroom and then a deeper shot into the bathroom where you described a candle that was in place. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And then again, as part of the overall documentation,
Yeah, I didn't mean anything. I hope you didn't take it the wrong way, bad girl. I was just saying, I hope that you got all the help you need with everything you're going through, and your hubby does too. I know y'all got a lot going on in that household. I just wanted you to know that. I'm praying for both of you. That was evil. It's ridiculous. You can't say murder. You can't say blood. You can't say victim. Like, what the hell?
did you step into that?
Right.
bathroom?
I did.
And did you make an observation as to a bathtub?
I did.
And what did you see in the bathtub?
The decedent.
Showing you what has been marked as states 40 as a full exhibit. Can you tell me, generally,
Hey, Rubba.
do you recognize this photograph?
I do.
And what do you recognize this to be?
That's the decedent. Who's
I'm sorry. Did you ultimately, did you determine a name?
yes,
And what was the decedent's name?
Christine Holloway.
I swear, Heather.
Now, within this photograph, clearly there is a body present in the photograph.
They're not
I'm
going to show
going
it.
to zoom in to a certain extent on
You
that
look at what you
portion of the
did.
photograph, which quality is not very good, but as you're looking at this, Your Honor, is
He can't even look at it.
left bottom corner of the photograph, just proximate to the victim's abdomen area. There is an item that is depicted just to the right side of the victim's abdomen. Are you able to see that, Detective Duggan?
I am.
And are you able to identify for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that item is?
That's the decedent's brain.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He took her brain out. No. Okay, wait a minute. Maybe it's like brain matter. I don't know, but they said that's the decedent's brain, like an item lying by the decedent, and then they said that's the decedent's brain. The decedent's brain. Did he take her fucking brain out? Oh my God. Oh my God.
Showing you states 41.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're going to hear that next, and you can't say brain.
Tell me if you generally recognize what this is. And I'm trying to improve the light here.
I do. That's the back portion of the shower. It's a tiled wall, and that is above
Whoa.
the decedent's head. And that's a bunch of blood patterns believed to be from the decedent on the wall.
Objection. This officer is not qualified to go ahead and testify what that substance is. It's a red-like substance. Somebody from the lab can come in and testify what it does. I object to the response.
I object to the speaking objection as to who the appropriate foundation.
All right,
is.
guys. So the
Yeah.
objection is
That's
a
enough.
reasonable objection, Attorney Stein. I understand your speaking objection regarding who can come in and testify. So we're going to keep this trial clean. I am going to sustain the objection. I'm going to strike the portion of the witness's testimony which stated that the area on the tile was a blood pattern of any type, okay? So this witness has not been qualified as an expert witness, so that is going to be stricken. If you wrote it down in your notebooks, please cross it out.
Detective Duggan, can you tell me, have
Me either.
you received training in blood patterns?
Yes.
And can you tell us about your training?
So the training consists of blood-like substances and blood patterns and what happens when those substances come in contact with materials.
Okay.
Fonnie, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate that support. That was so very sweet of you. Fonnie said, make an objection bingo card. We need to. We really do. We do. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate that.
And when did you go to this training?
During my time as a detective.
All right. And how many crime scenes approximately have you participated in?
Dozens.
And with regard to, let me ask you, this blood-like substance, right, that you observed, was there a body in proximity to it?
Yes.
Did that body appear to be bleeding?
Yes.
Did there appear to be blood-like substances all around the body?
Yes.
Blood, do you either have a basis in training or general knowledge? Is blood viscous at some point in time?
It is.
Cindy said, okay, the offense attorney is doing his job. Once it's done, there will be no reason or room for appeal based on inadequate representation. Yes, ma'am. We have discussed that several times, that he's going to have a hard time trying to appeal this due to inadequate representation because, like, yeah, they're doing their job, but, like, you can't say murder, can't say victim, can't say blood. Like, come on now. That's a little bit much. Considering it's a homicide trial, trying a little too hard, in my opinion.
And is viscosity an element of being in a liquid state?
Yes.
Funny.
And something that is liquid, if it's on, for instance, if I've got blood on my hand and I take this blood and I come in contact with another surface, will I transfer that viscous material to another surface?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls respect.
Here we go.
This gentleman has no ability to testify to that.
I swear I'm going to make one. Fonnie.
Just this precise.
I haven't heard enough about the training or the experience at this point in time to qualify this person to give an opinion relative to this attorney's time.
Trooper Duggan, did you receive training in analyzing blood-like material or blood-like substances with regard to the patterns that it leaves at crime scenes?
I did.
Did they talk to you about blood transfer?
They did.
And can you explain to the court what a blood transfer is?
Blood transfer is transferred from a source to an object. And when it interacts with that object, it'll form different patterns.
And is it possible for blood to be transferred from one place to another?
It is.
Why do you wear protective clothing when you enter into a crime scene?
To not contaminate the scene.
Okay. And is it possible then if you're moving around blood that you can get it on your clothing or on your body?
It is.
And so what is the purpose of the protected clothing?
It's to protect the scene and it's to protect myself.
So to the extent that if you move from one part of the scene to another, if you've got blood on you, do you change your protective clothing?
We do.
And what is the purpose of doing that?
To not contaminate the scene and to not transfer materials throughout the scene.
Because if you have something on your material and you walk someplace else, can you put it where it didn't originally exist?
You can.
And in terms of this type of transfer, and then the types of patterns that people can have related to viscous blood-like fluid, can someone look at that and make assumptions or make determinations as to the blood and its movement?
They can.
The form of the question calls for speculation. It's not qualified.
It doesn't, with all due respect to the court. Viscosity or a drip, for instance, something that.
Okay, Attorney Stein, you're not going to testify to this court.
Can I be heard outside the presence of the jury, please? With regard to laying the foundation.
Possibly with regard to laying foundation, perhaps this should be done outside the presence of the jury. Court's going to ask the jury to step out. Please leave
y'all
behind.
This is insane. Like he's an officer trained in blood pattern analysis. Lord have mercy. Yeah, we're gonna have to make a bingo card or something.
Where's the picture?
I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that I would get more out of this trial than I would out of the damn other one that's going on. Lord have mercy.
All right, so you may be seated. So Attorney Stein, you're asking this particular witness to provide an opinion.
I understand.
He hasn't been qualified as an expert. If you would like to work through the attempt to qualify him as an expert relative to whatever question you'd like to ask him, you can go ahead and try to lay that foundation now outside the presence of the jury, and I will give Attorney Gavin an opportunity to also lodge the witness.
Approaching, we have stage 41 back up on the monitor.
It is like
which
a clown
full
court.
exhibit. You testified to what do you believe this to be?
Objection, Your Honor.
Well,
I thought this hearing was in regard to his qualifications to testify.
Well, it is. So let me first start with, what is the question that you would like to ask in front of the jury, Attorney Stein?
Well, again, the question is that in terms of his testimony, is from this blood, he would be prepared to testify that the blood was
What is the question that you intend to ask?
What does this pattern indicative of? What does this pattern tell you?
It's blood transfer from her head on the wall.
And what does this pattern, or what does this, what are the significant patterns that you see here with regard to what happened to the blood once it was transferred to the wall?
When she was being placed in the tub, her head came into contact with the wall and was moving in a back and forth motion, or side to side motion.
And how were you able to determine that?
You can tell by looking at the blood pattern and the blood in her hair. And I believe in some portion of those photographs, there's pictures of hair. It came into contact.
Zooming in on stage 41, do you see the hair which you referenced?
I do.
And again, these patterns here, what do these patterns on the right side of the photograph where my finger is, what do they say to you with regard to the blood that was transferred to the wall?
That shows me that her head was in contact with the wall and he was moving in a side to side direction.
Would you refer to those as swipe marks?
I would.
And with regard then to 42.
Okay, Attorney Stein, let's get to this witness's qualifications to be able to make those conclusions or render those.
Can you tell us about the training? Tell us about the training that you received. When was it? How long was it? Have you received refreshment in any of those topics through either in service or in other manners? And tell us about your experience with these patterns over the course of your career.
I've seen dozens of these patterns at crime scenes throughout my career, and blood pattern analysis is taught in everywhere from basic crime scene processing, advanced crime scene processing, and it's also talked about in the NESPAC crime scene class, which I was just taken as of December of last year.
So hold on a minute. Sir, you answered that it's seen in different types of trainings. Specific to your training, what training have you had specific to blood pattern splatter?
I've taken two blood spattering classes, and I've taken these other classes that have talked about blood scene in the classes.
Okay. You may continue, Attorney Stein.
So with regard to those classes, were you taught, was it otherwise part of the lecture with regard to transfer of blood from one place to another?
Yes.
And if that blood becomes moved or disturbed, does it leave a pattern?
It does.
And if something that's viscous goes to something else, could it create a pattern such as a drip mark?
It could.
And did you look at these patterns pursuant to your training and your experience at 6.5 Myrtle Ave on December 3rd of 2019?
I did.
Sir, did you receive training on how to analyze these patterns?
To interpret them, not to analyze them.
Don't even, like Chaz said, exactly. He knows what he's talking about. Like, can we just get on with it? He knows what the fuck he's talking about. He's got training in it. I don't know what they're going to say to the medical examiner. That's going to be a whole nother shit show.
An interpretation is different than a physical analysis of the components of the property.
Yes.
Okay. So with regard to that, Your Honor, I would be offering him as an expert for the purpose of offering his opinion as to the interpretation of those patterns based upon what he saw at the scene.
Attorney Gavin, do you want to voir dire the witness?
There's no reliable evidence before the court that this gentleman is qualified to go ahead and opine in regard to blood splatter evidence. The fact that he's taken a class or two at some point, which we don't know when, he just testified that he took a class last year. This is a 2019 incident. He is not an expert in blood spatter. He's the lead case investigator. He was offered by the state to go ahead and indicate what evidence was received, photographic video evidence, not blood splatter evidence, Your Honor. And what we're doing here now is we're putting the officer in a position where he's trying to have him testify to BLS blood-like stains when there's no evidence whatsoever that that's blood.
Oh my!
Sir,
it's all over the wall and above a lady that is deceased with blood all over her and her fucking brain removed. Like, what the fuck do you mean there's no evidence it's blood? What is it, fucking red paint? Strawberry Jello? Or, I mean, come on. What the Sam hell?
First of all, with regard to his training, he has established that his background is a detective in major crime. He's been doing this for well over a decade. With regard to that, he's testified that in various trainings leading up to this position, and he named the courses that they receive information as part of their training with regard to processing blood transfer and interpreting patterns to understand movements at a crime scene. With regard to his experience, he has indicated he has done this at dozens of crime scenes during his time with the Connecticut State Police major crime. And with regard to his recent training, even if that training were not in effect, his ability to look at this evidence in conjunction with the recent training that he's received and offer an opinion. Experts frequently who have never actually been to a scene in all kinds of cases can look at photographic evidence and offer an opinion based upon their training and experience. I think that it is reasonable and logical. The jury will be able to gather information from that interpretation, which is probative of the activities of December the 2nd of 2019.
All right. Attorney Gavin?
What the court hasn't heard is he's never been qualified as an expert, as a blood spatter expert. He's never testified in that regard.
Here's the thing. So first of all, the qualifications are minimal at best. There's been no prior testimony. He wasn't disclosed as an expert witness. In addition to that, the jury does not need an expert opinion to draw the conclusion by way of inference that that red blood-like substance on that wall was transferred somehow, okay? And then they also have a body with blood on it in the bathtub. I am not going to allow this particular witness, based on his qualifications and his specific role at this crime, which is to document the evidence, to testify as to the means of the transfer of the blood-like substance onto that wall. That testimony and that opinion was not disclosed, number one. And number two, I don't think he's qualified, and I don't believe that the state has met the obligation that they need to meet relative to the expert qualification and the way in which this would assist the jury at this point in time. And the picture basically speaks for itself. There's hair in the blood-like substance. He can testify as to any of the specific findings, but I will not allow him to provide his opinion as to how those materials got onto that back portion of the tub. Anything further?
Thank you.
No, you're.
Okay. All right, we'll bring the jury back in.
Oh my God. I mean, I get it, I suppose, if he's not qualified in that area of expertise, but like, damn, who do you want? Like the person who wrote the book on it? Like, good Lord. Stern's case is going to be like this, I bet. And Brian Koberger. I bet money. I'm willing to bet money. Yeah, you have to be qualified to say blood. Like, never mind us saying it.
Welcome back. You may be seated as you come in. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you.
He's got enough training, I think, to distinguish the
Counsel,
blood
please stipulate to the return of all of our jurors here.
transfer, but like,
Yes, Your Honor.
God.
All right.
It's
Objection was
ridiculous.
sustained. You will not be hearing any answer to the question. Attorney Gavin, there was nothing the court needed to strike. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
And we'd stipulate the presence of the jury.
Thank you. Attorney Gavin, you may proceed. You may proceed. Thank you.
Back on states 41 with regard to this photograph.
Right, Indy. Who the fuck is qualified?
Are you able to
Person who wrote the
tell
book?
us, did you physically look at this blood-like substance on the wall?
I did.
And did you make a determination, was there anything else
You
that appeared
Hannah.
to be a part of that blood-like substance?
His hair-like fibers on the wall.
Like, he's received training in all this. He hasn't received training in how to analyze the blood spatter transfer, but he's received training in how to interpret it. So, I mean, you're getting into semantics here. It's just ridiculous. Like, at this point, the only person who could qualify on the blood pattern transfer is the person who wrote the fucking book on it.
Showing you 43 as a full exhibit. Again, do you generally recognize, is this again still the bathroom area around the tub?
It is.
And specifically, I want to call out in this photograph, the shower curtain. Again, your testimony was you go around and that you document things as they existed? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Did any member of your team put the shower curtain in that position for the purpose of photographing or otherwise doing anything with regard to the scene?
No.
Is that how you found the shower curtain at the time of your examination of 6.5 Myrtle Ave?
Yes.
And again, showing you 42 now as a full exhibit. Can you tell me whether you recognize what this is?
You know, Only Onions, I would do that. I would say, okay, if you want this guy to be that qualified, I want to know how qualified you are to do your job as a lawyer. Like, I need to know all of the classes you've taken, what you've been trained in and stuff. Are you as qualified to be a lawyer as this man is to be an officer? Because if not, sit down and shut up.
Yes, that's an overall view of the decedent in the tub.
And does this appear to be from the standing over the body looking down?
Yes.
And what does this appear to be, or what was the purpose of this angle on the photograph?
To show a blood transfer on the tub.
And again, are you referring to the blood-like substance which is depicted in the right-hand corner of the tub?
I am.
And is there similarly a blood-like substance
Ricola.
trailing away
We should turn that damn light back up.
away from the area where you had previously identified that there was a brain there trailing away in the direction of the tub.
Yes, it's traveling towards the drain.
Did you also directly, or do you
Yeah,
recognize
no, right?
what states 44 is as a full exhibit?
I do. That's a picture towards the front of the shower where the shower controls would be and the shower head would be. Above that, that's a picture of a window that's open,
Is it a window?
a skylight.
And is it is this the same tub area where the decedent's body is found?
It is.
Thank you. This may be a logical breaking point, Your Honor, based on our previous timing discussions.
Okay. All right. So we are going to be adjourning for the day. Before we do that, of course, I just want to remind the jurors of their obligations under your oath. I know that seems repetitive, but I'm duty bound to do that every day.
Well, that's it for today.
It's really that important. So please,
Look at
again,
him.
avoid any publicity about
Hope
this
you're
case
reveling
and
in
any
the shit you
contact
caused.
from anyone, and all of the other instructions that I gave you regarding your oath and your responsibility as jurors in this case. Have a good evening, and we'll see the jurors back tomorrow morning at 9:30. Thank you. Court stands adjourned.
My goodness, y'all. It's going to be something. Make sure y'all come back tomorrow so that we can see what kind of damn shit happens tomorrow. Good Lord. This is insane. Producer CB, like, are we going to need somebody to testify that it's a fucking bathtub that she's in? Do we need somebody to testify that she's a human? Can't say blood, can't say murder, can't say victim. Like, I mean, it's semantics. Like, I mean, again, the positive is nobody's going to be able to say he didn't have adequate representation. But the negative is, like, is the victim actually going to be able to get justice? Where's the baby? Her freaking braid was removed. Y'all, that is insane. That is insane. Like, she was beat to death, but her brain to be completely removed? Like, that reminds me of some Jeffrey Dahmer shit. Girl, I'm trying to quit. I'm trying to cut back and quit. This is not helping. But can say break. Yeah, we can say break. I think his first name is Richard and his last name is Head. You can make your own inferences from that, like Abellis had said earlier. Can't say bathtub. Are you a window identifying expert? Exactly, heathen. Like, what? Good God almighty. It's insane. Well, it's ridiculous. Right, Lisa? Mine too. Okay, so yesterday she said court would be back at 9:30 in the morning, right? So I scheduled my live for 9:30 in the morning. We will be continuing to stream this trial tomorrow. I will schedule it for 10, but I will pay attention and see if it starts at 9:30. We'll just come early. So I'll be on in the morning between 9:30 and 10. Hopefully we can have a full day of court, although it's not looking like it because we couldn't yesterday. They can't today. Like, y'all, I'm interested. I want to know where the baby is. I want to know more about the brain being removed. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to keep watching, but this is crazy. This is crazy. I hope they find that little girl safe too, Kelly. I really do. I really do. Yeah. We could start at 10 and skip potty breaks possibly. I mean, but they take so damn many. Either way, I will see y'all in the morning. I love you all. I hope you have a good night. If nobody has told you, you are important, you are special, and you are loved. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.